Yo, Michael T. Porter here. Welcome to Rooted in Music TV, where everything that we talk about, everything that we discuss is rooted in music. I got another bomb episode for y'all, but before I begin, y'all hit that like button, that subscribe button, that share button, hit that notification bell so you know when I'm dropping. Also, check out my Spotify podcast, the 250 Gemstones Culture Podcast. Link is in the description. Y'all stay and watch the whole video. We need to talk. Bun B is being called a snitch for pulling up that tool on a man who tried to invade his home and put a gun to Bun B's wife's head. Man ran up in Bun B's house trying to steal a car, trying to steal this, disrespecting his wife. So Bun B come down there with the foolishness, with that toolie. And then he took the stand. Oh yeah, Bun B was on the stand, pointed the suspect out, and everybody's calling Bun B a snitch. I got a couple of videos I'm gonna play for y'all, and I'm gonna be right back with you to give you my opinion. Let's go.
The rap legend Bun B and his wife Queenie giving emotional testimony in court today. The couple described a home invasion. Here's a rap legend Bun B and his wife Queenie giving emotional testimony in court today. The couple described a home invasion that happened back in 2019.
Yeah, this story made big headlines back then, and you may remember that's when the rapper ended up shooting the armed robber. Now that man is set to be sentenced for his crime. Sherman Chow joins us from the courthouse with what's next in this case and some interesting stuff in the courtroom today, Sherman.
Oh, yes, indeed. Yeah, actually, court resumes tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. It has been a very emotional and tense day here in the 209th. Rapper Bun B, whose legal name is Bernard Freeman, and his wife Chevalier both testified about that 2019 attack at their Houston home. 25-year-old DeMonte Alief Jackson has pled guilty to aggravated robbery and burglary with intent to commit another offense. Well, Jackson's parents testified on his behalf, saying that he has an IQ of 81 and mental health issues. The Freemans say that Jackson forced his way into their home, put a gun to Mrs. Freeman's head to rob them and steal their car. Bun B, who was upstairs, grabbed a gun, came downstairs, opened fire
on his ass. Bun B, y'all keep playing with these cowboys out here. Y'all keep playing with them cowboys out here in Texas, Houston. They about that warfare.
Jackson, who by then was behind the wheel of a car in the family garage.
Shooting back at me, and I proceeded to unload my weapon.
Then what?
Well, I wasn't sure if I unloaded my weapon, and then he fell out of the car. He threw his gun down. I started fighting with him. My wife came through the garage door. She started screaming. Tell me.
Dad, you ain't gotta ask. Hang on, man.
After that outburst, there was a brief recess and court resumed. Jackson's father said his son was a standout high school football player who, quote, had everything, including 2 cars and a moped, but not disciplined because he wanted to be a friend, not a father. Jackson was wounded in that shootout and then fled to a hospital where he was then later arrested. 2 more defense witnesses are scheduled to testify tomorrow morning, after which the judge will issue a sentence. We are live here in the Harris County Criminal Courthouse. Sherman Chow, KHOU 11 News.
Very tense day indeed, and volatile in the courtroom. Sherman, thank you.
Factor Uncensored, a follow-up to a story we have been reporting on since 2019. That's 5 years. A man named DeMonte Jackson broke into rapper Bun B's home. He has been sentenced today to 40 years in prison, 4 decades. As we've reported, Bun gave some emotional testimony on the stand yesterday, recounting the trauma his wife Queenie felt about Jackson putting a gun to her face. I spoke with Bun's attorney, Charles Adams. He says he believes the couple finally received justice today. It took 5 years to get a conclusion to this case.
Yes, sir. It was very unusual, right? He pled guilty
years ago, right, to a judge that's no longer on the bench, a judge that was even too liberal for the incredibly liberal Harris County sensibilities, decided after he pled guilty to give him a bond so he could show him if he was going to behave well enough to be on deferred adjudication. Deferred adjudication probation for forcing his way into a woman's house and putting a gun on her forehead, threatening her life, and shooting at her husband. Absolutely disgusting. And then what did this criminal do? He went out and he got charged with 3 federal felonies, including stealing a mail truck and driving onto an airport tarmac. Went to federal prison.
And this is before this case is over.
This is before this case is over, while he was on that bond. Then he gets sent back here. We heard testimony in this hearing that he was bullying older inmates at the Harris County Jail, stealing people's commissary, threatening people, assaulting people, throwing bottles at guards, had to get moved from tank to tank to tank because he was a de facto tank boss. And his pre-sentence investigation denied putting that gun to Queenie Freeman's head, claimed that he thought it was a vacant house when they got video from their doorbell camera of him forcing himself in. And Judge Warren listened to all this. He listened to a defense counsel argue that it wasn't really him. It was mental illness. It was drug addiction. His parents talked about how he struggled, but then admitted that he was a football star, that he had 2 cars and a moped, that he had a pretty nice life, that he went to junior college with the intent of playing football and decided to throw it all away and almost took the life of one of my closest friends doing it. Judge Warren listened to 2 days of that nonsense and gave him 40 years in prison.
When you had an opportunity to see and witness and be there with your friends, Queenie and Bun B, and see Bun B break down on the stand and just what Queenie had to go through over the last 5 years dealing with this. What was that like for you as a friend seeing all of
Well,
this?
it was incredibly powerful, right? I have not seen Bernard. We spent a lot of time together. I've never seen him cry, right? I've never seen him show that level of emotion. And it was all born from a space of frustration because he talked about how his wife's anxiety just took hold of them. She never went back in that house the next day. She left, never turned around. That was their home that they loved. It took so much from her. And as a husband, he didn't feel like he could fix it. And that led to a lot of frustration for him and just real sincere agony and anguish. And I mean, he did a great job with his testimony, but it's because he was telling the truth. And I think anyone that saw it, I mean, I'm going to be honest, there's tears running down my face, and I don't like to cry either, right? I think the rule is you only cry if something happens to your mama or your dog, right? That's about it. But it was amazing. But when Queen got on the stand, the courage that she showed, right? In fact, the defendant left the room while she was testifying to go watch it by Zoom, but that was at the request of defense counsel, trying, in my opinion, to mitigate her emotion by manipulating the situation. It didn't work. She held strong. She gave her testimony. She clearly conveyed to the judge how this impacted her life and every horrible detail, how she was struggling to save her husband's life by begging him not to come downstairs, and that he still did it nonetheless because he was going down there to try to save his wife's life. It shows you a beautiful relationship, and I thank God they got the justice they deserved.
And when you look at the sentence of 40 years, do you
Beautiful relationship. That's what a man is supposed to do. You ain't supposed to be busting your gun for no reason. You're supposed to be busting your gun if you honestly feel your life is in danger. You know what I mean? So you gotta do what you gotta do as a man. You gotta do what you gotta do as a man. And that's why I said you have to get right with God, because if you're gonna risk doing 10, 15, 20 years of life, no more recording in the studio, no more entrepreneurship, no more buying up homes, no more going to church. You giving up your life for this matter. Better get right with God, because from here on out it's warfare.
think that's enough? That's appropriate?
Oh, I think it's appropriate. In Harris County right now, You're seeing people commit murder and get half that time. So this was so important to the DA's office. They assigned a felony division chief, Tiffany Dupree, along with the courtroom prosecutor, Morgan Klein. And those were two of the finest prosecutors I've ever seen practicing law in my life. They both did an amazing job. They built an excellent case. They had an expert witness there to push back on the nonsense that he was mentally ill, and that's the reason he did it. And it was just a great job by the Harris County DA's office, and I think it was a perfect sentence handed down by Judge Warren.
All right, Charles, thank you for joining us here on The Factor on Cincy.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Glad Queenie and Bun B got their justice.
Would y'all like my opinion? Would y'all like some of this Rooted in Music TV commentary? Well, of course you do. That's why your ass is here. Bun B is 51 years old. He's a grandpa, and believe it or not, there are men, especially black men, they are still holding down the street code in their 50s. Holding down the street code. No snitch, I ain't doing no snitching, I ain't doing no snitching. Listen, everybody know. And if you don't know, now you know. Because I'm about to tell you right now. Snitching is when you commit a crime, you're part of an organization, part of a clique, part of a group that's into criminal activity, and y'all make a pact, y'all make a bond, y'all have an agreement. Ain't no snitching over here. We about to do what we about to do. Home invasion, robbery, murder. Wherever y'all do together, we are not going to help the laws do their damn job. We are not going to tell. We are not going to do any of that. We are not going to bump our gums. And typically when people get behind the wall, they go into an interrogation room. It's like a little cheeseburger. They always get these people with these cheeseburgers. They get you nice and hungry. I don't know what it is. When they pick these boys up, they be hungry. So snitching is when you commit a crime with somebody, y'all made an agreement not to help the laws, don't tell the laws nothing, in order to reduce your sentence. That's snitching. Throwing your man under the bus, throwing your partner in crime under the bus, that's snitching. Criminals, gangbangers, mafia. And here's the thing, all those groups I just named snitched. They got snitches in all those groups. Bun B is 51, making that money, entrepreneur, grandfather, father, husband, brother, friends, good friend. There's a lot of people that believe that Bun B shouldn't have said anything. Now, I don't know if they trolling, and if they really believe a 51-year-old black man who has everything to lose should still be out there acting like he was when he was 17. That just lets you know how many dumbass people you got out there. Even if you a gangster, you'd be like, okay. Because, in my opinion, that was gangster what Bun B did. He protected his home, he protected his family, he protected his wife, and he protected himself. You ain't gonna come up in there in Bun B's home disrespecting his old lady. First off, you gonna come in there in his home unannounced without expecting some hot ones coming out your ass. That's gangster protecting your wife. That's gangster protecting your assets. That's gangster standing up and being that protector when the time presented. So that's gangster. He pulled out his gun. He wasn't playing. Had that thing upstairs. That's gangster. Was even more gangster the way he held it all together and went to that courtroom and pointed this man out, because this dude has a long history. As y'all can see, he has a long history of terrorizing people. They say he was terrorizing old folks while he was in jail. All kinds of robbery. They said while he was on bond, he was committing crimes while he was out on bond. His daddy said he failed him because he tried to be his friend rather than be his father. That has nothing to do with Bun B. That has nothing to do with Bun B's wife. Saying that this man is a snitch at 51. Saying that he's a snitch. I know that 40 years is a long time. But what if, y'all think about this, for the people that say he's snitching and this and that, what if that gun would have went off accidentally on Bun B's wife's head? What if that gun, he put the gun to her head, hey, give me this, give me that, and he accidentally, the trigger accidentally goes off, the gun accidentally goes off. Then what we saying? So in life, it's all about prevention. It's all about prevention. We have to prevent people from doing these type of heinous crimes. And the best way to do it is to keep these niggas off the street. And here's the thing, he already had a car. Why are you stealing Bun B's wife's car when you already have a car? It's drugs, man. There's a lot of dope. And there's a lesson for all you young niggas out there. There's a lot of your OGs are dope heads. And a lot of them, y'all don't know that they dope heads. You know, y'all just probably see them smoking weed, but they on dope. And these are the men that you follow. What they don't tell you, even if they're sober now, what they don't tell you that when they were really out there active, they were on dope. They wasn't doing it to put it on for the game. They wasn't doing it to make a name for themselves. They were on dope. They were actual criminals in the sense of, well, they weren't even criminals. They were drug addicts committing crimes. But they only tell you the part, yeah, man, I killed that nigga. Yeah, I done did this. I done broke into this home. Blah blah blah. But they didn't tell you that the main reason why they did it because they were on drugs. Not because they gangsters, not to put on for the hood. They were on drugs. And they needed to get that money, that fast money, so they can go get high. Y'all better be careful who y'all follow. Snitching? Y'all flood my comments. Do y'all think Bun B was snitching when he took that stand? Or he's just being a grown man acting his age? 51. Entrepreneur, father, grandfather, good friend, businessman. 250 capital G, Rooted in Music TV. I'm gone.